Hi, my name is Robin Jackson, and this is Head in the Clouds. Today we're going to be looking into meteorology and storm chasing here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Our first interview is going to be with Bert Lauderdale. He does his own YouTube channel on storm chasing and meteorology and used to go to MATC just like the rest of us. Before we get into that though, I have some DIYs lined up where we're going to be making a weather vane, and stay tuned to see what else we're going to create. The supplies that you will need to create your own weather vane are a straw, an unsharpened pencil, an empty plastic container with a lid and a hole cut in the top, some Play-Doh or some modeling clay, a ball pin, some cardstock, and a Sharpie. To start, take your plastic lid and a Sharpie and mark down your north, east, south, and west for your weather vane. Next, you will take your Play-Doh or modeling clay, squish it at the bottom of the container, and then place the lid back on. And once you've done that, you can stick your unsharpened pencil through the container into the Play-Doh so that it's sitting upright, and set that aside. Now you can take your straw and the ballpoint pen and puncture it straight through the center, and take your scissors and make a slit on each end of your straw. Once you've done that, you can retrieve your container and take the ballpoint pen and stick it directly into the eraser of the pencil. Now you're going to take that cardstock and cut out one triangle and one rectangle, slightly bigger than the triangle you created. Now our last step is to insert the triangle and the rectangle into those slits you made in the straw. And there you go. Now you have your own weather vane. Go outside and see which direction the wind is blowing in your area. Now we're going to be moving on to an interview with Kristen, who is a meteorologist with TMJ4, who you've probably seen on your own TV at home. But first, we have another DIY lined up for you. We'll be making a glass Coke bottle thermometer at home, and it's pretty cool, so come check it out. The supplies you'll need to create your own thermometer are modeling clay, red food coloring, water, a clear straw, rubbing alcohol, a small clear bottle with a narrow top, an electric kettle, and a heat-safe bowl. To start your project, you will take your narrow top bottle and pour in half a cup of water. Here I only used 1/4 cup, but later you'll see me put in a little more so that I can actually reach the straw. Next, you can put in your red food dye or any color of your choice and give it a good mix. Now I'm putting in 1/4 cup of rubbing alcohol, but then you'll see me add a little bit more of each the water and the rubbing alcohol, so it'll equal about 1/2 cup of each. You just want to make sure the liquid is actually touching the straw for the thermometer to work. Once the liquid is at your desired level to reach the straw, you can insert your clear straw and then take some modeling clay to wrap around the top of the straw, making sure that there is still a little straw on top exposed to the air, but there are no gaps between that and the bottom. Now that your thermometer is complete, we can test it out with a heat-safe bowl and some hot water. Make sure your thermometer is securely in the bowl and start slowly pouring in some hot water. You'll see the heat make the red liquid raise quite quickly through the straw. Pretty cool, right? Now you have your own DIY thermometer. Thank you so much for joining me today. Now let's move on to our interview with Kristen, who is a TMJ4 meteorologist.
Best chef Midwest, right here in Milwaukee.
Meteorology for people who live in Milwaukee and in southeast Wisconsin. The weather here can be crazy, and the weather changes quickly sometimes, and we get all 4 seasons, which makes forecasting the weather here really fun. It can be more than 100 degrees, or it can be more than 20 degrees below zero. We get a huge range of weather. We get winter weather, we can have blizzards, we can have tornadoes and severe thunderstorms, so you get a really wide array of different types of weather. And plus we have Lake Michigan, and so that can throw a big curveball into forecasts sometimes. And I think that people in Milwaukee are really tuned in a lot of times to what's happening in the weather. People know cooler by the lake, people know just some of the little things that can happen in the weather here. And I really enjoy talking to people, our viewers, about the weather, especially when I get feedback from people about what's going on. And it's just it's a fun place to be a meteorologist. I have really enjoyed being a meteorologist. I've been doing this for more than 10 years and I love it. I actually left TV for a little while and then I came back because I missed it so much. I really just love doing this job and it's kind of become a part of who I am a little bit. It's hard to leave it alone even on my days off. I want to know what's going on and I'm always watching and seeing what's happening, looking at my rain gauge. But it's a really fun job. I feel really lucky to be able to do this job. It definitely gives me a sense of purpose and I feel like it's a way that I can help people, even if it's just helping people know whether they need to wear a coat or not. And that can make a big difference in your day if you're freezing cold or if you're not. And I think for anybody considering being a meteorologist, that is a big part of it, that you're able to help people in a certain way. It can be a small aspect, or sometimes it can be a life-changing event. If a tornado, hits your neighborhood or a hurricane hits where you live, that's a life-changing event for somebody. So I think it's an amazing job, and for anybody considering becoming a meteorologist, I would say it's a really fun job. If you have a passion for weather, if you have a passion for science, and a passion for communication, that this is an awesome job.
Thank you so much, Kristen, for giving us that insight on TMJ4. Now we'll be moving on to our last segment where we're going to be making a barometer. You just need a mason jar, a balloon, and some other supplies, so just come check it out. Our last project today is going to be on how to make your own barometer. The supplies that you will need are as follows. You'll need a balloon, a glass mason jar, some scissors, a rubber band, some tape, a drinking straw, an index card, and a pencil. First, you're going to take out your mason jar and your balloon and start blowing up the balloon to stretch it out. Release the air and then take a pair of scissors to cut the balloon in half. Now you can struggle to stretch the balloon over the top of the jar. You want to make sure that the top of the balloon is pretty taut so that it's not all loose when you want to detect your air pressure later. Now quickly take your rubber band and wrap it a few times around the top of the mason jar over the balloon to make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Now go ahead and take your tape and your drinking straw and you're going to tape it to the top of the balloon, making sure that it's only about halfway on the balloon so that it can move around. Now you'll need a flat surface. Here I just have a Tupperware, and you're going to take your index card and just tape it to the flat surface that you have. You want to make sure it lines up with where your straw is pointing. Now that your barometer is all finished, you can track the days and the air pressure of each day by just marking down where the straw lies on the index card. Thank you so much for joining me today in making these DIYs. I hope you had fun, or at the very least learned a little something about meteorology. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you to Bert Lauderdale and Kristen for joining us and having those interviews. It was much appreciated. I hope everyone at home learned a little something about meteorology today, whether it was from the DIYs or the professionals. But either way, I hope you enjoyed, and my name is Robin Jackson. This was Head in the Clouds, and have a great night.